In our last video, we introduced the concept of external versus internal locus of control. And we wanted to examine why do some of us have more of an external locus of control and what can we do about it? Well, really, the external locus of control typically has to do with one of three areas or more than one of three areas. First, it could be a problem with someone's level of competence. It could be a problem with their confidence, or it may be a problem with their motivation. So let's look at each of these. So with competence, this is where someone doesn't believe they have the necessary skills and ability to complete their behavior change. So to change this, number one, we might want to pick something where we know we have some skill already. So for example, if you have exercised in the past, then maybe picking a behavior change having to do with exercise where you already know you have some skills can be helpful. Or we might get some training to learn some new skills. With exercise, for example, this would be maybe hiring a personal trainer. If we're trying to change our diet, it might be setting up an appointment with our registered dietitian at the Marathon Clinic, something like that. We can also then work to try to get better at the skills that we need in order to feel competent in that area. A second area that affects this external locus of control is a problem with confidence. Now, having a problem with confidence may mean that you are competent, you just don't believe that you are. And so you really need to make sure that you give yourself a fair try, right? Don't just try your behavior change once or for a short period of time and then give up. Give yourself a certain longer period of time that you're going to work on it and realize that you're probably going to have some lapses and you're just going to get back to it, but give it that fair try. We also want to try to visualize success. If you were at your best with this behavior change, what would that look like? And then try to close your eyes and visualize yourself in that situation. And then third, it can also help by sort of breaking down this behavior change into small parts and then working on each of those parts at a time, little small steps to kind of get you to your big goal. We'll talk about that in a future video. Third, we might have a problem with motivation, right? Do you really want to change that particular behavior? So one, you might need to, kind of do some more research to figure out, is this something that's really worth the behavior change that you're engaging in? Second thing, we need to make sure that the change is meaningful to us. And sometimes meaningful means that it's not just something that's going to improve our health, but it's maybe something related to something else that's important to our life. So for example, losing weight to be healthier is great, but sometimes losing weight because you got your class reunion coming up might be more meaningful to you. So searching for those types of things can help too. And then finally, we can help with this motivation by setting goals. Goals help direct our efforts, and so that can be an effective way of improving motivation, and we'll talk about goal setting again in a future video. So one thing to remember is nobody is totally externally or internally controlled, okay? We all have some amount of external locus of control and internal locus of control, and it also can vary by what particular area of our lives that we're looking at. Second thing we need to realize is that there really are some things that are out of our control. For example, heart disease risk factors include age, gender, and ethnicity, three things that we can't change, along with family history. And so we can't change those, but what we do want to do is kind of focus on the things that we can change, and that can help us direct our efforts on those particular items. So next up, we're going to hit the third area of what influences motivation, and that's a topic called self-efficacy.